The Coach's Room with John Goyens. You can find him on Twitter at Gourmet Hockey. It's brought to you by UFC 289 coming this Saturday in Vancouver. 6 Canadians on the card, and you can watch it all on pay-per-view. John, let's start with maybe what Vegas is doing well, and it's scoring at 5-on-5. The goals are 8-3 in this series. Is this purely Vegas just being too much to handle, or is Florida making some mistakes here?
Well, you guys mentioned it at the top of the show with the odd man rushes and the bad pinches. Everything that their forecheck evolved in terms of versus Carolina, not giving up those odd man rushes, cutting those odd man rushes in half. Right now, at the rate that they're giving up odd man rushes, would have them 31st in the National Hockey League over a regular season. 31st. Whereas what they did against Carolina had them in the top 3. What they're not doing is they're not doing that reload retreat. Pardon me, reload retreat, which they did against Carolina. The other part is they're dumping recoveries. They're a high dumping team, but they're recovering pucks at a rate that would have them in the bottom 5 in the league in the regular season. And then as we roll it here for Vegas, we know that they can score in various ways, and they can score here. Though, watch the changes, right? The change is a little bit early. So Carrier comes off the bench a little out of sight, out of mind. But then it seems that everything that doesn't go right at the net right away creates a little bit too much chaos in terms of their D-zone coverage. And the old adage of, when in doubt, protect the house. Here, Vegas does a great job as usual. They shrink the zone. There's 5 guys in the picture. All that hockey talk, all that hockey coach lingo. And then you get this pinch. It's a long distance play. It's a hope play. Now it looks like a 2-on-2, but it's just not. Like, Carlson's got way too much speed coming up the ice. Montour loses Amadio. And it continues. A lot of it coming from the offensive zone. Stahl, half pinch. He's protecting the wall. The wall doesn't need protecting. Montour wants to switch with Duclair. I think he needs to buy Duclair a little bit more time. Now here comes the chaos, right? You should stop in the house. Well, where's the puck go? Right through the dot line. White Cloud moves to the inside. Duke's trying to block a shot. It's in the back of the net. Barbashev with a little pick, takes out Varhage's stick. Now you got a 4-on-3 rush. Keep them to the outside. No problem. Here's a 50-50, shrink the zone. But again, they get to the house, but now there's the lack of awareness. Here's that aggressiveness in the neutral zone. Boom, line change, and bad line change on the backside for Florida. What do we got? A 4-on-3 rush. Now, they're going to keep them to the outside, but now it goes down to the low in the zone, and it's a bit of a broken play. What do? You protect the house. Now it's 1-on-4 for Nick Waugh, and he puts it in the back of the net. He should never even get to the slot at that point.
John, I played for a coach, Jordy Kinnear, who's the head coach of the Charlotte Checkers. We were in Springfield together, and man, all the time, every single day, 5 on a die, 5 on a die. He said this endlessly in the locker room, meaning 5 players that look like the dice, and where you needed to be in the defensive zone. That's been missing from the Florida Panthers. Now, coming into this series, you're big on the special teams, and Florida's power play coming into the Cup Finals was nearly at 28%. And Vegas's penalty kill had been the worst of the playoffs. Yeah, they'd faced Edmonton, but they hadn't been great in previous rounds either. So what have you noticed during special teams, and in specific Florida's power play?
Well, see, the thing is right now, Florida's 60% on offensive zone faceoffs. So if you're going to do that, then have a quick strike plan, first and foremost, because the rest of it's not really working out for them. They are only 60% success rate on controlled entries. They're not. So what are they doing? Then they start dumping in pucks. So as we roll these clips, you're going to see what Vegas does when they win D-zone faceoffs. There needs to be a 4th guy jumping to nullify these easy clears, right? So right now, like I said, they're about 6 for 10 on the power play on offensive zone faceoffs. But these there's way too much time. It seems like they're reloading at 5-on-5, but in essence, they're on the power play. So here you win a faceoff. Sprint to the middle. I think Montour's got to drag Carlson past the midway point to give Barkov way more space. Same thing, Forsling, sprint or give it to Varhage and get over the halfway mark, giving Ekblad more time and space. It just becomes a one-and-done 1T. Now the entries. Here, stop on the drop. No one's got speed. You could kick it out. Well, what are you going to have to do? Now you're going to have to rim release. Pietrangelo reads that, bang, it's down the ice. Here, 3-on-3 rush. A little bit of a hope float type of pass. They get lucky, they keep it in. Rim release, what happens? They shrink the zone. Now all you see is a 4-on-2. You want to play quadrants on the PK. And Vegas is winning that. Here again, zone entry, bobbled puck, dump in. There's not enough pressure. Bennett is hoping on the half wall. He's not joining. They're not outnumbering. I mean, it does come down to simple math. You have one extra player. You've got to outnumber them. And again, 2-on-4. It's always now 4 versus 3 or 4 versus 2, in certain quadrants. Another dump in. Well, here they go. Shrink. What do you got? You got 4-on-2. And in this case, they're actually going to get possession of the puck. Now it's hoping passes through sticks and then forcing a bad shot, and then it's a one and done. And as we're getting to the tail end of this video, another puck placement. Well, what do you think we're going to see? 2 versus 4. So they've got to start doing a better job of figuring out quick strikes. Here, yeah, Montour's had a hell of a year, but I think this is a hope shot. You've got one of the hottest players in the entire playoffs, Tkachuk, just sitting there with a massive highway-sized lane or 2 lanes to come down his downhill side to create. I just think that the puck's not on their stick enough, and on face-offs and on opportunities off of broken plays, they got to figure out ways to get to the slot and get some quick strikes.
Love the insight as always, John. If I gave you a chance to redo your pick for this series with it 2-0, what would you say? How many games do you think the Panthers can win here?
They're gonna go. This is gonna go 7, in my opinion, and I think Florida's gonna chip away. I think what they did against Carolina proves that they're better than what they've done in the first 2 games.
As someone who's thrown a bit of money on the Florida Panthers in the series, I like your optimism, John, and I loved your insight today on the Coach's Room. As always, brought to you by UFC 289 this Saturday on pay-per-view, headlined by Nunez versus Aldana. You don't want to miss it, and you won't want to miss John Goyens every Thursday on DFO Live. Thanks for hopping on, John.
Thanks, guys.